This location mean to you?
What does this location mean to me? Well, today we're down in Aston at Phillip Street Park. Phillip Street Park to me was much more than a park. It was the classroom of life. It's where worlds come to collide. People from different cultures, from different backgrounds, from different races and different ages all convened and come together to play, to enjoy, to celebrate at Phillip Street Park. More important for me, I learnt the importance of connection. I learnt the importance of community. I felt like Phillip Street Park gave me more than I could ever give it. It was a space that allowed me to, bring thoughts to reality. Imaginations became reality. Friends that I met here, some have passed, some are still present. The days we spent in this park, they can't be touched. They're cherished by all. But yeah, Phillip Street Park, to some, it was just a place to offload children. For me, and for many, it's home. Why do I continue to do the work that I do? So for me, it's a two-part question. It's heavily linked with purpose and heavily linked with self-growth, self-discovery. So I feel like in this life, there's many lessons to be learned. And the work that I do through, whether it's the food, the walking, the community work and the community engagement, I learn things every day through mistakes, through other people's mistakes, through sometimes just having a conversation with a customer. I feel like it builds on to the person that I'm becoming and constantly growing to be. So yeah, it's heavily linked and associated to self-discovery. In terms of purpose, it becomes a time in life. I feel like we all get to that age where we either look to our phones, look to our friends, look to our families, and we ask ourselves, what are we going to do in this life? How are we going to leave an impact, especially as young men? And I felt like for me, it was heavily linked to community. So everything I do, from an all-around approach, it's all linked back into giving back into the community by being a role model, a pillar, someone people can look towards to understand that there's not one way of doing things. The most important thing is to find a way that works for you. So, what's the fondest memory from the community that I grew up in? So, it was a summer's day. We're talking, going back some years now. It was back to the Afro dread days. My hair was all out here. It was free-formed, so it was a bit all over the place. I think it was about three or 4 days after my birthday as well. For those that don't know, my birthday is smack bang centre of summer. Is around the time where schools break up. So schools generally break up every year, a day or two before my birthday. So we're talking start of 6-week holidays. Everyone's out. Everyone's out. Cousins, uncles, brothers, sisters, friends, everyone. If I could label the term, the block was popping. Yeah, I would. In the community, it was like a day like no other. So it involved me coming to the park. I'm pretty sure I had my bike at the time. So I'd go ride through the park, through the back entrance. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but through the back entrance, and I would literally go to an entrance where it brought me into a cul-de-sac, where I'm pretty sure I knocked on majority of the doors of that cul-de-sac. So we're talking 8, 9 doors. because they were my friends at the time. They were my local people. They were the people I was connecting with. So it would start off, a couple knocks would be like parents saying they've got to eat first, they'll be out later. And those that could come out, I'm not going to mention their names, but they was with me, and it was with me most days. So it started off like no other, a normal summer's day to me. We made our way to the park. For those that know who grew up with long hair, the painkiller is flying ants. Yeah, little bugs. And due say we're in the middle of summer, they're there. Flying ants, they're seasonal. They only come out when it's warm, and they pretty much die off within a few days. But when they're out in full effect, and there's loads of them. Now, on the tarmac in the park, we were like nosy children. So we would always want to see every little part. So there was a part what we could kind of lift up. You lifted it up, and there was colonies after colonies after colonies of ants, literally wiggling their way through the sand/dirt, what was there. It almost sent shivers down my spine, I promise you. The day moved on, and it consisted of games like flick the shoe on the swings, tig and tag, stuck in the mud, the works. But the games what held a special place in my heart were things like Aki Traki. Now, the reason why these games really hit home for me is because these were the games where the youngest would play, and the oldest would get involved. We played it situated to a lamppost in the very same cul-de-sac where my friends lived. Now, this was one of those days where we're running around, we're hiding, we're climbing trees, whatever we could do to hide and not get caught. And keeping in mind, we never played no basic version of Aki Traki. Yeah, we played the Aki Traki that if I see you and I get back to the lamppost before you get there and shout out your name, you're caught. And as we all know, there's the version where you have to go tig a person. Obviously, that relies on a little bit more of a physical essence to the game, whereas we was more tactical. We had to hide. If there was a bush, if there was a mound of leaves, we would all utilise it all to our benefit and to our effect. So the day's gone on. Like I said, laughter's happening. Some people are getting upset, and don't get twisted, I was a sore loser. Yeah? All my friends would tell you that if I lost and I could use my words to get out of that loss and be like, nah, you didn't catch me first. Nah, you didn't say my name. Nah, you didn't say the location where I wasn't there. You're lying, you just shouted it out. Anything to stay in the game, anything to not be on the next round. No one wants to be on in Aki Traki. Yeah, let's be honest. And it sits very, very close within my head. My brother come down the entrance of the cul-de-sac. He just come from the shop. So I'm the youngest. This is the two above me. So not the second youngest, the third. Yeah. So he's come down from the shop. He's got some ice lows, some tip tops. Back when they were 10p, 5p. Yeah, not the 25p, 30p, sometimes pound, 50p nowadays. Yeah. And he also had Capri Suns. So now I'm literally lying in the grass because I've been caught, waiting for the rest of my friends to be caught. And he was being a little bit lazy because he didn't want to walk across the road to give it to my hand. So he threw my Capri Sun in the air towards me, thinking I was going to catch it. And it's just hit the floor and absolutely splattered over me. It was a little bit like a water bomb. The day was so hot, it wasn't a time for me to get upset at the fact that my top soaking wet with orange Capri Sun. it was more a laugh that, yo, Capri Suns are water balloons. So, yeah, moments like them, days like that, to some it was normal, and to some it was just a passing day. But to me, it held very special moments in my heart. Some of the friends that was involved, like I said before, are not here today. And those memories will stand the test of time. Memories like that are memories that I wish to create with my own family going forward. Memories like that are memories that I wish I could relive. Memories like that are so important to me. But yeah, that's just one within the community. What is it about my upbringing that gives me a strong sense of pride? For me, it's having an unorthodox upbringing. What I mean by that is inevitably going against the grain. So growing up in a time, so I'm born in 2000s, so growing up in a time where Aston was heavily influenced by gang violence, and loads of issues what come along with that, where people were warring over postcodes, the lot. It put a lot of segregation on community, what broadens and goes beyond the borders of your postcode. But for me, having an unorthodox upbringing, I kind of see myself as a son of the universe that knew no bounds, no bars, no borders. And it was heavily linked within connection. So like being homeschooled, being privately medicated, privately educated, on the poverty line. Now, it wasn't all great, but it's what made me me. And I feel as if no matter the room or the space that I step into today, my presence is felt. And I kind of have to give that credit back to the places that I call home, my humble beginnings. I feel like my community, Aston, my family, my friends, we all, like I said, have a similar background, similar things that we can relate to. But what makes me prideful is that I survived. When I say survived and I say the straight and narrow, it doesn't mean that I shun upon any other path what people may walk. I'm just proud of the path that I chose to walk. And I feel like within that, it's gave me a sense of power. And that power is my own personal brand, if I would. And that goes far beyond any business, far beyond any infrastructure, far beyond any systematical setup. It's just about how you choose to present yourself and put yourself out there. But yeah, I'm proud to say that I'm from Aston. I'm proud to say that I've had a different upbringing to the rest. I'm proud to be different.